Now, in this part we're basically going to continue integrating the level editor, but if you are following along and you want to make a turn-based game with this level editor integrated, it's best that when you're watching the level editor that has the multiple floors and all that, and any additional video I do on the level editor, it's best that you integrate it directly on the project instead of keeping it the way I do it over here, like having two different projects. Now, we're not going to mess with pathfinding just yet. I want to keep that into a different video just for itself, because it's just an advanced topic and it has all that. So what we're going to do basically is integrate the multiple layers, multiple floors basically for our levels, and we will basically recreate the behaviors we had before. Now we're not going to have a lot of changes, but the ones we're going to keep to do are going to affect the game in a lot of ways. And as I said, we're not going to mess with pathfinding, so if you have somebody being into an upper floor, then this is going to happen, okay, because there's no pathfinding and it takes only the first floor in mind. So let's move on. We'll go directly into before we go directly into scripts, we will go into our prefabs and we have our floor. Into our floor we previously had only one tile renderer. Now we're going to add another one on top of it, okay, which is going to be the indicator. And by indicator I mean the part where it goes blue or yellow depending on if the character can go, or red if the character cannot walk there. To separate which one is one from script, of course, okay, we can close the indicator now. We will create references on the node object and on the node references. As far as the node object is concerned, we're going to keep the tile renderer ground, which is this one, where we change if it's bricks, if it's ground, and all that. And on the node references, we're going to keep, of course, the reference to the indicator. So basically you need to update the prefab and you're all set, and assign the tile renderers, of course, and you're all set. So let's go into the scripts and let's see directly the changes we have to do on the node object. Okay, tile renderer ground, you need to add you need to change the name. Previously we only had it as tile renderer, and of course you need to also update this one over here. Okay, this is easy. Now to the node references, we need to update the name, of course, and change the names for that. But we also need to keep a reference for the node object, since we need to know from the node references, which is accessed by the grid master. So we need to know, basically we need to have a reference also to the tile renderer ground, but we're going to keep them separated so that we do not do a nice spaghetti. Okay, so just make a public variable over here for the node object. So with that in mind, we can go into the grid base and start adding the changes we have to do. Those changes were, of course, I think we covered this, since we are updating the previously it was already we already have the Y on the 10 based grid, but we need to also make sure that we update and we add the variable for the multiple floors for each in case we will need it. With that in mind, just go over here and say the maximum y, okay, pass the references, and where we are getting, and we now do not have only one floor, so we need to know all the floors and all the game objects that have inside nodes. So we create a list, and for each game object we have into our level manager that separates every floor as under its own game object. Okay, we basically go and add the M collider, which is the mouse collision, and add them into one list, and we can go into that list. Okay, we can create a new list that will hold all the node objects, and for each game object we find that has a node object, okay, we use get components node objects, we find all the node objects, and we add them into our list of nodes, node objects to be more specific. Okay, let's delete this one. The previous way we were doing it was going directly to the grid holder. Now we do not have only one grid holder, so we need to add all our floors basically, and then we can simply go and start loading our level. So for each node object we have into our objects, into our node object list, okay, we create a new node for this grid, which is the grid master, not the level editor. We update the variables as needed, and this is not that good, we will see. Okay, we update the variables, we assign the world object, we assign the node references, we assign on the node references the covers, we assign also if it's walkable or not based on what we have into our nodes, and then we go also assign, and this should be node.position y. We assign the node reference. Here is where we assign on the node reference a reference to the node object. So we say new node reference dot node object, new node from the world object, game object we have just created, not just created, with the node object we have, get component, level editor, node object. Okay, we assign the reference. Then, if the node object, if the node says that it's type of air, so it's air, okay, what we need to do is update its if the level editor says that our node is air, the node we just loaded is of type of air, we need to go into the new node we've just created and update its type also and make it to be also air. We need to change the material to none, since basically we do not want to show anything, otherwise we will be watching the blue tile we were seeing when we were on the level editor. And we also need to close the tile renderer for the ground, since it's air, there's no ground. Okay, so we can see what goes underneath it. If it's not there, then that means it's a ground, so that means the node is basically already set up, and we assign the node over here into the grid basically. Okay, that's all this. Now, these are all the unused functions we have from previous videos, so let's just get rid of them. And we also do not need anymore the mouse collisions. Okay, let's go into the initialization. Need grid, yeah, as I said, load grid, which goes and loads everything we just said. Now the mouse collisions are basically created now from the level editor grid. Okay, so we do not have to worry anymore about them. And the only colliders we're going to have into our scene will basically be the ones that are created from the mouse collision. And if I click pause over here, go to my start scene, you will see that the object holder for the first floor is this one, and we have separated all the objects per floor basically. Now the last floor, of course, is empty, so we do not need to worry about that. Now I say empty because it doesn't have any object, but it has the nodes, but the nodes are inside the... Okay, you will see that when I close this, the nodes go away because we keep the floors, since these are nodes, under the box collider for the floor basically. Okay, so we have 3 colliders over here. Now, on when we actually go and start playing with the maximum pathfinding and all that, with the advanced pathfinding and all that, okay, we're going to have one more floor that's going to be all air, since we will need it for the advanced pathfinding, to know that we are above air and all that, so that we know that the character can climb over something or not. But of course that is going forward, we do not need that. So basically we have all the colliders enabled right away. So the previous way we were doing this stuff was when we wanted to select a unit, we were clicking and we were finding the node that we just clicked, and we were watching if we had a unit or if there was something else. Now we cannot do that because we have 3 colliders, one on top of each other. Okay, so if I click from over here, I will always be getting the top one collider. So how to fix that? We will go basically to the only place where we needed the interactions with the colliders, apart from how we were doing the combat. Okay, this we're going to keep the combat into a different video. Okay, so over here we're simply doing a simple raycast. Now we're going to change that, and instead of doing a simple raycast, we're going to do a raycast hit array, and we're going to do a raycast all, passing the array of the mouse position, and you can either go infinity or 1000. 1000 is also the maximum rendering the camera will do. So okay, and then for each hit we're going to check the node, and for each node that we hit we're going to check if that node is ground, then we want to stop. That means we're clicking on ground. Then it's going to return the node we hit, okay, and it's going to break the for loop and assign the return variable, the return value, and will return that node. So inside player interactions, we only have to change this one, and I had one more, but yeah, we do not need this anymore. It works just fine. So let's see my other over here. So this is the level editor for the grid base for the level editor. Okay, since we now we pre-assign the tile renderer based on if it's on the node object or the node references. Previously we had it straight on the node, but we do not want to do that, so you're actually going to have and delete this one, like I will do. Okay. Oops. So we cannot use it to assign it directly from when we were creating the grid floor. Keep in mind this is from the level editor, not the grid master. Okay, and basically go and update everything else we will have concerning the Y if you haven't already. Okay, and we want to also pass reference to the node object over here. Okay, this is stuff we basically did on the previous video. So either you are updating it, you have to watch the previous video and see exactly what you need to update inside the level editor. And also, I think this is one is the same. Okay, if it's not the first floor, then assign the node object as there. And yeah, this is for the level editor. We do not need this one. Now on serial master, okay, still the same case. We need to update the game grid, the Y variable basically. Okay, and we take that from the editor grid size Y. Everything else pretty much stays the same. Now, a few changes you need to do on the level creator script, but it's basically all that has to do is updating the correct tile renderer. So previously we were taking the one directly from the node object. So if you delete the node object, you will get a couple of errors that were when you were accessing basically that tile renderer. Okay, so instead of taking it directly from the node editor, we want the tile renderer of ground. So that tile renderer is inside node object, and we do it this way. Okay, same way, same thing also, same thing, and we basically have two more that are of the same thing, and let me find them. Okay, when we're clearing the references, and over here. Now we're basically done with this. So if you did everything correctly, now keep in mind, if you have few more errors when you are integrating the multiple floors on the level editor, it's best to do it directly into the project you are going to be using. So the turn-based in our case. Now I keep different projects because somebody might need the level editor for something else that isn't a turn-based game. Okay, so I have to kinda keep them separated. But if I was doing and creating from ground up a turn-based game, I will just do everything into one project. Okay, so if you are done with that, then that means you will have something like this, and all previous behaviors are going to work exactly the same. Okay, and we can also aim and all that. On the next parts, we're going to focus again with we're going to focus with the advanced pathfinding. If you remember, it was when we were going, and as you can see, yeah, I didn't bother with having the covers. Right now we will take care of that all once again into the next part. Now the only thing that won't work directly is aiming from one floor to another, because it hits the collider, the middle collider between the floors, and of course the collider that is under this guy's floor. Okay, and he might be able to get down from there. Now if he's down from there, and if I change my rotation, let's select somebody else. Okay, if you see over here, this one doesn't update because it doesn't find a collider that is directly underneath my mouse, because the top ones, since they are ground, that means they are blocking my raycast hole. Okay, so we're done for today. This was pretty simple but kind of necessary, since we need to keep updating two projects directly. So just take my advice. If you are making a turn-based game directly from this, just just integrate everything into one project, and whenever I do a level editor video or a turn-based game, then you know you will have to watch both. So if you like the video, of course, you know what to do. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you also want to help me out with the videos, then consider supporting me either on Patreon or on Gumroad. And of course, when I'm finished with this project, I will also have that on Gumroad too. So I'll see you next time.